Hi Austin and welcome.
Thank you.
What music have you been listening to lately?
Oh, that's a good question. There's an artist called Theo Katzman.
Okay.
He plays with Wolfpack. I've been listening to a lot of him lately. He's a really great guitar player, great songwriter. Yeah.
How do you listen to music? Spotify, LPs, vinyls?
Vinyls, and then I use, I'll stream music as well, usually on Tidal. But yeah, I have a lot of vinyl at home. Yeah.
Do you prefer current stuff or some old?
Oh, that's a tricky question. I love a lot of the older stuff. That's just classic stuff, but there's plenty of good new music coming out. It's endless. So much great music out there.
Do you remember the first time you held a guitar in your hand?
Oh yeah, definitely. My parents played music growing up, so that there was guitars all around the house. So, I guess maybe it's hard to remember the exact first time, but I remember as a young kid just putting the guitar on and just didn't even know what I was doing, just strumming it. Yeah.
And what was the first song or riff you could play on it?
Oh, I think the first thing I tried learning might have been Stairway to Heaven.
Okay, yeah.
I think so, yeah.
Many people want to play guitar, but not everyone wants to build them. When do you find out that you want to be a builder of the guitars, not just a player?
That was kind of a long thing. My dad worked on guitars. He didn't build, but he would tinker and work on them, so I was kind of surrounded by that growing up. And then I started to tinker on them, changing pickups and swapping out parts.
Okay.
And then probably in my maybe 16 or 17, and I realized, maybe I might want to start making these. So pretty young age.
And your first guitar, was it for yourself or someone else?
It was for myself.
Okay.
Yeah, it was. I went to a school to learn, so the first guitar was my project guitar.
Do you still have it?
I do still have it, yeah.
How does it play?
It plays pretty good. I still use it. I'll play it sometimes, playing live. There's things I would improve on it, of course, but it's a totally, acceptable guitar.
Can you see any errors or mistakes because it was the first one?
Definitely, yeah. There's lots of things where I look at it now, I'm like, maybe I'd do that differently, or this looks a little off. Yeah.
And do you remember your first client that asked you to build guitar for him?
Yes, actually. It was a friend of mine. He wanted an 8-string bass, like the doubled up strings.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that was quite an undertaking.
Do you need to be a good guitar player to build them?
No. Leo Fender didn't play guitar. So that's a great example.
So how will you find out if the guitar is great build or not?
Well, in that situation, Leo didn't play, but he had players around him. So he had their input. So it does help if you play. You can check it out for yourself. But you can always surround yourself with great players and get their input as well.
Is it even possible to create something new in construction of guitars, or is it even a point?
That's obviously a lot of the stuff we're doing it's an old design that that started in the early 50s, late 40s even, he was working on it. So we do a lot of the same classic stuff, but there's always room for improvement or innovation. It's an ever-evolving process.
We have one of your instruments here. So what's the story behind this guitar? How old is it, and what was the purpose?
This one, I'll pick it up here. I built this, maybe a month or two ago. So it's relatively new. It's new, yeah. But this is just, having fun with the specs. This isn't something that's vintage correct or something that would have existed in the 60s. But it's just something to have fun with. It's got some different specs on it and different parts where I think the sum of all the parts gives you a really great instrument. It
looks used, but it's completely new. What do you think about the relic debate the pros and cons of this?
Sure. Yeah, it's a hot topic.
Yeah.
The whole thing with the relic, it's it's not for everybody, but I love doing it. I like the look of it, and it's not. Some people say like, oh, you're faking it. It's fake. You didn't actually wear all that guitar, but I don't think people are trying to trick people to think that they did this wear. It's more they like the look of it, and it's it would take a long time to actually play a guitar to get it to look like this. So it's just people who like the look and they want something that looks like that, and they're not trying to trick anyone. It's an aesthetic, and it gives the guitar a unique fingerprint because there's only one that looks like this.
What tools do you use to make it look used and old?
That is, all the master builders kind of have their own way of doing it, and we have our own little drawer of tools that we find here and there. I'm always adding stuff to it. You kind of invent it as you go a little bit. There's no set tools to do it.
Do you remember who was your first, I don't know, maybe known client, known musician that asked you to build guitar for him?
Probably, maybe the first one was Corey Wong.
Okay.
Again, a Wolfpack relation that I mentioned earlier. But I built one for him, his signature series guitar, but it had binding on the neck. And I see him play it from every now and then. I'll see pictures of him with it, and it's cool to see.
What specific demands musicians have for their guitars?
Oh, wow. That's, it's always different. Yeah, because each order is very, very unique. It's, everyone's very particular about what they like, what they don't like. So each build has its own individual demands. It keeps it interesting.
What was the most special demand?
That's a good question. I've built a lot of weird stuff. Not exactly a direct demand from a customer, but I did the Jerry Garcia Alligators, and that was very demanding. There was a lot of difficult stuff to recreate. That was probably my most demanding build to date. Yeah. It
is often said that guitar isn't just about how it sounds, but how it fits in your hands. Do you agree with it?
I agree. I agree completely. We like to kind of say that the neck is the guitar, because that's where you interface with it. That's where everything's happening. So if it doesn't feel good, you're not going to pick it up and play it. And then a guitar that you don't pick up and play is not a good guitar.
So you think the neck is the most important part of the guitar?
I think so, yeah. Yeah.
Is it important how long fingers I have or something like this for a specific guitar?
It comes into play. You see, Jimi Hendrix had really big hands, but then look at Django Reinhardt. He's working with two fingers. Yeah. So it's, don't feel limited by, what you're given with. If you got big hands, small hands, you can always get good at the guitar.
How do you define authenticity in building guitars?
Authenticity, I think just if you're, I'm just speaking for myself, if you're really passionate about it, I know I love guitars, I live and breathe guitars, it's every day I'm just nerding out about guitars. So if you're really passionate about it, I think it's just going to come out through the build, and it's going to feel authentic to whoever plays it. We really care about each instrument.
Do you see yourself more as a craftsman, designer, musician, artist?
I would probably lean towards craftsman out of those words. I'm a musician. I love to play. There's some artistry involved with it. But if I had to pick one of those, I would say a craftsman. How did you become a guitar builder for Fender? That was, I've been there about 4 years now, and I've been working with different companies throughout the years, and just, it's kind of a small world, the guitar builders. A lot of us know each other, and there was an opportunity, an opening at the Fender Custom Shop, and I kind of threw my name into the hat, and not expecting anything, just like, oh, I'd love to work there, and was lucky enough to, they looked at what I'd been doing in the past, and they thought I was up to snuff for the custom shop, and I was more than honored that they picked me to come aboard, and I don't take it for advantage. It's every day I feel very lucky.
As far as I know, there are only 13 custom builders for Fender. Do you know each other, and do you inspire each other?
Absolutely, yeah. We're kind of all in this big room, but then we have our own little areas in that room. So we're around each other all day long and asking each other questions, showing each other stuff we're working on. It's like a nice little community of guitar nerds.
Yeah. Has every member of the community some specifics, like he builds this kind of guitar and this?
There is some specifics. I would say some guys are better at some things than others, but it all kind of overlaps. Like Andy, it's kind of more what people are passionate about, more so than the specific skills. Like Andy really likes more of like hard rock stuff, so maybe people gravitate towards him for that. And I like country and Telecasters, so it's not only the specialties that the builders have, but it's their personality as well.
What is the first thing you have on your mind when you start in a build guitar?
The first thing is I want to make sure that I know what the customer who ordered the guitar, I want to make sure I'm on the same page as them and know what their end result or their dream is. Make sure we have the same image, so we're starting from the same place.
And how about the sound? Do you think about the sound?
Absolutely. That comes into play with making sure we're on the same page. Like if someone's really into country playing, not necessarily, but they might be more interested in a Telecaster. Maybe, how hot the pickups are comes into play, or what kind of pickups. So yeah, I like to know what kind of music the customer plays.
How about the Tonewood topic? Also is a huge debate about it.
Sure, yeah. Tonewood, it's, there's a lot of opinions on it. It plays a role. It's more important in acoustic guitars than it is in electric.
Really?
Yeah, it's because, in an acoustic guitar, the wood, the top, essentially is a speaker. So the wood that you choose, the thickness, everything is a little more important than it is on a solid body electric guitar. Not to say that it's not important on an electric. It plays a role, but there's other things affecting the tone. There's pickups, different hardware. So there's a lot more in the equation than there is on an acoustic guitar as far as what contributes to the tone. There are differences with the different species of wood, but I think more importantly, you want quality wood. I think that's almost more important than whether it's alder or ash or the maple neck or a rosewood neck. You want to make sure the wood is of high quality, nice straight grain, tight grain, and that's really important. But yeah, I don't want to downplay the role that the species of wood plays, but there's just a lot of other aspects.
Do you have favorite wood?
Yeah, it changes because we build so many. So sometimes this will be my favorite or that'll be my favorite. But I really like Korina. Mm-hmm. Korina's really a beautiful wood, nice to work with. More traditional, like ash. I like an ash body. But yeah, it's hard to pick one.
How many guitars you have built so far?
Man, I off the top of my head, I don't know. I don't know, hundreds.
Hundreds?
Yeah, for sure.
So 300s or 800s?
Oof. Could be closer to 800. Maybe it's in the thousands now too.
Really?
It's hard to keep track. I've been doing this 20 years now probably. So it's there's a lot out there.
What was the most specific project that took you probably the longest time, the guitar to build?
Again, for that, I'll have to circle back to the Alligator, the Jerry Garcia project. Just because the whole process was very long of finding out how to make that. So that really took the most time to get right.
Fender guitars has long heritage and tradition. Isn't it limiting for you somehow?
I wouldn't say so, because there are other ways of building guitars and other companies out there, but I think being in the custom shop at the Masterbuilt level kind of removes some of those limits. And not that those limits are bad, but we can do stuff that didn't really exist in the past. If someone wants set necks or just weird different things that Fender didn't make, sometimes we can do that in the custom shop, and it just, I don't know, it removes some of the limits for me.
How long does it take usually to build one guitar?
That varies a lot depending on the complexity of the build, but something, just your average Strat or Tele, once I start the process, it's probably around a 3-4 month time to start to finish.
Do you feel a guitar builder is a part of the band, creating the sound for them?
Oh, that's an interesting question. I guess somewhat, yeah, because the band, they need those instruments to make their music, so I guess they play a small role, yeah.
So when you see someone to play your guitar, how do you feel?
I always feel honored, just because I love every guitar I build, and to see someone enjoying it, that's what they're for. So to see, it just puts a smile on my face.
What was the most rewarding feedback you received on your guitar?
Oh, these are good questions. The most rewarding feedback, it's really when, because a lot of times we'll send a build out and we never hear about it again, because we're shipping guitars all over the world. So it's just nice when you get an email back or a phone call back from the customer, just saying how much they enjoy it. I don't need that, but it's nice. It's nice to get that. So it's hard to say one specific thing, but just when someone's happy with it, it's nice.
How do you see Fender Custom Shop probably in 10 years?
Well, I hope we're just still plugging away, making people's dream instruments. I see it just continuing and getting bigger and more customers, and it's so much fun, and I think people really enjoy the guitars. So I see us going for a long time.
Do you think it remain as a niche luxury, or it will be probably more accessible for more people?
It's hard to say. The Masterbuilt stuff is an upper echelon, so it's not for everybody. But then there's team built level, which is more accessible, if you want to say. And I don't know. I think there's something for everybody in it.
If you could build a guitar for any artist, past or present, who would it be and why?
Gee, that's good. Maybe I'll answer with two people, a past and a present.
Okay.
Past, I don't know, I gotta say Jimi Hendrix, that would be so cool to build, because that's kind of one of my big influences. So, I mean, that's maybe an answer a lot of people would give, but how cool would that be? Make one for him. As far as a present artist, I've always been a big fan of Blake Mills. He's a fantastic player, does a lot of studio work, has great solo music. That'd be great to make one for him.
Do you also play your own music? Are you in a band?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, my wife and I play music. I play guitar in her band. So yeah, we play quite a bit, and we have fun doing it.
You probably play your own guitar?
I do, yeah. I do. I know everything about it, and it feels comfortable. So
what was your demand for your own guitar?
That one I play right now is just a hardtail Strat. My big demand was I didn't want the tremolo on it. I like just a hardtail. I got the neck shape just how I like it. it was kind of easy because I know what I like. I didn't even have to really think about it. I'm like, I'm just going to make this the way I like it. Yeah.
And do you have any unfinished dreams or ideas in terms of creating guitars?
Yeah, there's always, like, again, I'll speak for myself, but I'm sure the other builders are the same. New ideas are always popping into your head, like, oh, that would be cool, or maybe that combination of stuff. So I have notes on my phone, it's kind of a mess of just like random ideas. So yeah, there's always new weird stuff I want to try that maybe might not work, but always trying to experiment.
Thank you for your answers and for your time.
Absolutely, thanks for having me.
Jestli se vám pořad On Air líbí, dejte like a odebírejte kanál Kytary.cz.